Saba. I'm here speaking for myself. I'd like to add to some of the things Dr. Rice wrote.
And Dr. Saba, someone ceded their time. You've got 5 minutes.
Thank you. I'd like to add to what Dr. Riceborough had said about copper toxicity. I did a little researching on that, and what I found was that in general, copper can act as a growth-enhancing agent up to certain limits, up to about 1,000 parts per million in the feed. It can enhance growth, but up to maybe above 1,000, up to about 1,400 or 1,500 parts per million, you actually get toxicity. And some of the birds will die. But one of the things that I thought you all might want to consider is the fact that in one species, and I gave some references here in my little red book that I gave you all. There was the issue of reduced egg production caused by high copper levels. And I don't know, I haven't researched that, but it could be an issue if the issue is condor reproduction. The issue on copper, as we all probably know, solid copper itself is not going to be toxic. In order for copper to be toxic, it has to oxidize, it has to turn that green color in order to enter the bloodstream. And again, I have not done testing on condors. Dr. Riceborough seems to have done a pretty good job of that. But it would appear to me that if you can exceed certain levels, and we're talking above 1,000 parts per million, you will get some sort of toxicity. You will likely get some sort of toxicity. And what I've read is there's quite a variation between avian species. So it's something that would have to be researched, and it's a caution, that's all. Now, with regard to the lead ammunition, or the non-lead ammunition, the bullets, I think one thing that needs to be considered is the issue of ricochet. When you have a lead bullet, and I've fired a lot of lead bullets at things, and particularly when you strike a hard object like steel or rock with a lead bullet, it will disintegrate that bullet. It will cause it to spin and shuck its core. If it's a rear core bullet, the core will come out. But the concern is when you go to the non-lead ammunition that tends to be hard, and you strike a hard object, you are going to generate ricochets. One striking example of that is with the non-lead shot, the steel shot. The saving grace of steel shot is you shoot up in the air. If you try to shoot sporting clays down low, shoot rocks with steel BBs, they will come back in your face. And it's extremely dangerous. The ricochet potential of hard ammunition is extremely a cause of concern because, well, steel BBs, of course, will come back at you. But the issue with rifle, you shoot, you miss your deer, you hit your deer, you go through the deer, you strike rock, and that bullet that can take off and go who knows where. It's something that you want to be considering as a safety issue. Okay. Regarding the issue of marking the ammunition, if you all pass some regulation that says the ammunition must be marked, I thought perhaps you would want to consider what happens to all the ammunition that's already been sold, the current unmarked stocks of ammunition. What happens to that? That's a cost issue that you need to factor into the overall cost of the program, I would think. And then finally, it's the issue of the 2F, item 2F. How do you measure the success of the program, volunteer program? And let me be, I'm only being slightly facetious here, but I'm trying to make a point. We all remember the Salem witch trials, where you had this lady, and she might be a witch, and we can find out if she's a witch. If we throw her in the water and she sinks and drowns, well, she wasn't a witch. But if she floats, she's a witch. And the point I'm trying to make is that how do you really know if your lead volunteer program is working without first making the assumption that lead ammunition is the cause of the toxicity? You have to first make that assumption. And my point is I don't think you can quite make that assumption yet. That's my point on that. And I think I can end with that.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Saba.